It may be hard to believe now, but there was a time when Gary Sánchez was a star on the rise. He made a name for himself on the Yankees in 2016 before Aaron Judge did. This year, he's been DFA'd by the San Francisco Giants and New York Mets. Right now, he's putting up some pretty putrid numbers in San Diego. How did he fall off so badly? He took his talents for granted and seems to go through the motions a lot. Early on, he was a very dangerous hitter but struggled defensively. Now he's not good at anything. It didn't have to be this way though. Had Gary Sánchez been more passionate about the game and been held accountable more, he could have easily been on the right track for the Hall of Fame by the end of his career. Gary Sánchez was born and raised in the Dominican Republic before signing with the Yankees as an international free agent in 2009 at the age of 16 with a $3 million signing bonus. Baseball America named him as the 7th best prospect in the organization. By 2012, Gary Sánchez was ranked as the 4th best Yankees prospect and continued to rise through the prospect rankings. After representing the Yankees in the 2015 All-Star Futures game, Sanchez was promoted to AAA. By the time the AAA season was over, he was called up to play 2 of the last 3 regular season games for the Yankees. He didn't get a hit in either of those 2 games, but his time to shine was still to come. Sanchez was back in the minor leagues to start the 2016 season, but he would burst upon the scene after getting called up in August. The Yankees were sellers at the trade deadline for the first time since God knows when and looked to rebuild. Sanchez was called up on August 3rd during a Subway Series while the Yankees were just 1 game above 500, and he gave the team new life. In his first 4 games after he was called up, he went 5 for 15. If you're bad at math, that's a 333 average. He hit his first big league home run at Fenway Park in his 6th game, and from there on out, he went on a tear, hitting 20 home runs in just 53 games. The Yankees finished the season 84-78 and just narrowly missed the playoffs. The future still looked very bright for Gary Sánchez and the Yankees. Had Sanchez been called up sooner, he likely would have easily won AL Rookie of the Year, something he was second in while playing just 53 games. Not only did he hit 20 home runs, he also hit .299 with a .376 on-base percentage. Even after the Yankees made a late season playoff push in 2016, many people predicted the Yankees to finish 4th in the AL East. I actually had them as the second wildcard team, but they did even better than I expected. Sanchez got off to a slow start in 2017 as he was just 3 for 20 in the first 5 games of the season before he got hurt and had to miss a month. While Sanchez was injured, Aaron Judge burst upon the scene, hitting at a historic rate and took the spotlight away from Sanchez. This made everyone expect the Yankees to be even more dangerous once Sanchez returned. The Yankees were 15-8 in April while Gary Sánchez was hurt. When Sanchez came back in May, he hit .293 with a .398 on-base percentage with a .440 slugging percentage for the month. He only hit 3 home runs in May, but in June, he hit 9 home runs and 27 RBIs while hitting .307 with a .390 on-base percentage and a .659 slugging percentage, adding up to an OPS of 1.049. Can you believe this? Sanchez and Judge both made the All-Star game in 2017, and they were also selected to participate in the Home Run Derby. While Judge won the whole thing, Sanchez impressed by knocking out the defending champion Giancarlo Stanton. Sanchez and Judge both slumped in July, but in August, Sanchez was mashing much like he did in 2016 with 12 home runs and 26 RBIs. Sanchez finished the season with 33 home runs and 90 RBIs with a .278 average, .345 on-base percentage, and a .657 slugging percentage, which earned him a Silver Slugger award. Sanchez wasn't flawless at all though. His walk rate was just 7.6% while striking out almost 23% of the time. His defense was also a problem. He showed off a cannon of an arm, but also led the league in pass balls and errors among catchers. However, he's still 24 years old, so he has time to fix that, right? Even though Sanchez had a great regular season, offensively, he stunk in the playoffs, hitting just .208, while his on-base percentage was also abysmal. One thing I completely forgot about until very recently that I should have mentioned in why the Astros own the Yankees. When Carlos Correa hit that walk-off in Game 2 of the ALCS, Gary Sánchez couldn't hold on to the ball when it was right in front of him, and Didi Gregorius' throw beat Jose Altuve by a mile. It should have been 2 outs with Marwin Gonzalez, who was 0 for 3 in that game after that. Would Marwin Gonzalez have been able to come through had Sanchez held on to the ball and tagged out Altuve like he should have? We'll never know, but the Yankees should have at least had another chance to win Game 2 if Sanchez just held on to the ball. I'm not putting all of the blame on Sanchez for this game, because the Yankees offense as a team only scored 1 run in that game. However, the Yankees should have had another chance to win if Sanchez was able to make what should have been a routine play. After 2017, Gary Sanchez's career took a very sudden downward turn, and I think it really started with the Yankees deciding to hire Aaron Boone as their manager instead of keeping Joe Girardi. Girardi always held his guys accountable. Accountability has not been a thing in the Yankees organization from the guys with position of authority since Aaron Boone has been hired as the Yankees manager. In 2018, with high expectations, Sanchez was often injured and he only hit 186 on the season with a 291 on base percentage. His WRC plus was 10 points below the league average at 90, and his WOBA was at 304, where 320 is average. The most infamous game of the season was against the Rays in July. In the first inning, Sanchez let a pitch from Luis Severino get away from him and jogged to the ball, allowing Jake Bauers to score from second base. Then at the end of the game, he jogged down the line on a ground ball with the bases loaded, 2 outs, down 1 run. Sanchez had been on the IL shortly before this game and went back on soon after. Maybe he was cleared to play sooner than he should have been, or the Yankees organization tried to cover for his laziness. Either way, Yankees fans were pissed off to see this happen from the guy who's supposed to be their star catcher. Many fans even started to think Austin Romine should be the starting catcher, even though he's not much better offensively and doesn't have nearly the arm that Sanchez has. Sanchez had 1 redemption game in Game 2 of the ALDS against the Red Sox with 2 home runs. He only had 1 hit in the other 3 games, which the Yankees lost all of. The year the Yankees were supposed to build off of being 1 game away from the World Series the previous year, they ended up being sent home in the ALDS, and Sanchez was by far the biggest disappointment on the team. In 2019, fans began turning on Sanchez, and it didn't take long for him to hit the IL. The Yankees looked like this for the early part of the season, but still won more than they lost. When Sanchez returned, he seemed rejuvenated. He hit 8 home runs in April, but only hit 233. He was a lot more consistent in May with 9 home runs and 15 RBIs while hitting 286 and posting a 348 on base percentage and 631 slugging percentage for the month. Gary Sánchez made his second and what is more than likely his last All-Star game after he had 24 home runs in the first half. However, Sanchez had an abysmal July in which he barely hit over 100 in. He was decent in August, but September he was terrible and he got hurt again. He finished the year with 34 home runs and 77 RBIs while hitting just 232 with a 28% strikeout rate and just a 9% walk rate. He cut down on the passed balls, but also made a career high 15 errors, more than any other catcher in Major League Baseball that season. The Yankees won 103 games on the season, which was good enough to win the AL East for the first time since 2012. Sanchez had just 1 hit against the Twins in the ALDS, but the Yankees had no problem sweeping the Twins. Then with another shot at the Astros, the Yankees would lose to them again, and no, not because the Astros cheated. Gary Sánchez had a lot to do with it, hitting just 130 for that entire postseason. Sanchez struck out 44% of the time, and nothing ever got better for him after this. As we know, the 2020 season was delayed due to the COVID pandemic. In the 60-game season with no fans in attendance and teams only playing within their region for the regular season, Sanchez was a total disaster, hitting a career worst 147 while leading the league in pass balls again. His 10 home runs in 49 games is 33 home runs per 162 games. That's nice, but so what when you hit just 147 and strike out 36% of the time? That right there should have been the end of Gary Sanchez's time with the Yankees, especially after he hit just 125 in the postseason while striking out 44% of the time again. And the Yankees lost in the ALDS to the Rays. Another red flag in 2020 was Garrett Cole, who the Yankees just signed for $324 million in December of 2019 to be their ace, letting it be known that he preferred Kyle Higashioka to be his personal catcher. When your ace would rather have someone else as his catcher, that should really make yourself look in the mirror and think, I need to be better. Sanchez hit 2 home runs in the first 2 games of the 2021 season, but finished the year hitting just 204 with a 306 .307 on base percentage, striking out 27.5% of the time. Okay, his walk rate is a little better at 11.8%, but he was still striking out way too much, and he didn't hit nearly as many home runs as he did in 2017 or 19, this time with just 23. Two perfect examples of Gary Sanchez's laziness came in August and September of the 2021 season. First against the Angels, when Gary Sanchez threw the ball very late, allowing David Fletcher to steal second while completely unaware of Shohei Ohtani taking a big lead on third, which allowed Ohtani to steal home. Sanchez threw the ball to second all for nothing. No one was out, and he allowed a run to score. Then in September, against the Mets, Joey Gallo's throw from left field beat Jonathan Villar by a country mile, but Sanchez couldn't even make the easiest tag in the world. You'll see right here that he was initially ruled out, but the Mets challenged it and it was overturned. All Gary Sanchez had to do was stay low and block the plate because he had the ball way before Villar was even close to home. A manager should hold guys accountable and take the player out of the game for such lackluster efforts like this, but Aaron Boone didn't do that. He enabled Gary Sanchez this whole time. Of course, it's never excusable for a player to give less than 100% effort, so Sanchez has himself to blame, but had Aaron Boone or anyone in the Yankees organization held him accountable, it may have made a big difference for both Gary Sanchez and the Yankees. The Yankees ended up not even making the ALDS after losing the wild card game to the Red Sox, and that was it for Sanchez's time with the Yankees. After the lockout ended, the Yankees traded Sanchez and Gio Urshela to the Twins for Josh Donaldson, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, and Ben Rortvedt. The Yankees finally did what they should have done sooner by trading Sanchez, but still messed that up. Not because Gary Sanchez had a resurgence though, that has more to do with Josh Donaldson being trash while making the most money out of everyone involved in the trade. In Minnesota, Sanchez was abysmal again, hitting just 205 with a 282 on base percentage and a 377 slugging percentage, a WRC plus of 89 while striking out almost 29% of the time and walking just 8.5% of the time. He also hit a career low in home runs with just 16 while hitting just 61 RBIs. The Twins missed the playoffs with a 78-84 record. Going into the 2023 season, Sanchez signed a minor league deal with the San Francisco Giants and was straight up garbage even in the minor leagues and got released pretty quickly. He then got another minor league deal with the Mets, but he only lasted 3 games with them, and his batting average, on base percentage, and slugging percentage were all well below 200 in those 3 games. The San Diego Padres gave Sanchez another chance in late May, and at first he looked rejuvenated, hitting 2 home runs in his first 3 games as a Padre. Now though, as of the recording of this video, he's hitting just 198 with a 267 on base percentage with the Padres. He seems like he at least regained his ability to frame pitches, but certainly not his ability to hit. He's also not throwing out runners attempting to steal at nearly the rate he was once capable of. The Padres as a team aren't doing too well either. At this rate, Gary Sanchez's MLB career may be coming to an end very soon while he's still only 30 years old. The moral of the story is, to quote A Bronx Tale,
remember, the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. You could have all the talent in the world, but if you don't do the right thing, then nothing happens.
if Sanchez showed more passion for the game, he could have still been a Yankee, and the Yankees would probably not be as bad as they are without Aaron Judge, because they'd still have Gary Sánchez to produce for them. Instead, he is an afterthought at this stage of his career. That's it for the rise and fall of Gary Sánchez. If you enjoyed this video, a like would be much appreciated. Please consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you never miss another video. Links to my social media are down below. If you'd like to suggest a rise and fall video in the future, or you want to comment your thoughts on the rise and fall of Gary Sánchez, love to hear from you in the comments. Here's my most recent video and the video that YouTube recommends. If you'd like to click either of these, or also my rise and fall playlist down here if you'd like. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you in the next video.